The Rams have finally settled into a clear direction. Something new pops up that gets the entire fan base talking. And over the last 24 hours, there's been one rumor that's spread everywhere, leaving a lot of Rams fans wondering if another blockbuster move could be around the corner. The crazy part is, after everything this front office has already done this offseason, it almost feels like nothing is impossible anymore. That's exactly why this latest situation has everyone paying attention. Is there really another major addition on the horizon? Or are we all getting carried away by the excitement? There are a few details behind the scenes that completely change the way this story should be viewed. And once you hear what was actually said, you'll probably look at this rumor very differently. But before we get into all of that, if you're a real Rams fan, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Rams House Daily, and join us from the very beginning. My name is Jake, and this channel is still brand new. Our first goal is to reach 100 subscribers. And if you truly believe this team has what it takes to compete for another Super Bowl, I'd love for you to be part of this community from day one. Let's build this Rams family together. The speculation started the moment reports came out that Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive tackle Vita Vea had officially requested a trade. Almost immediately, fans and analysts began connecting the dots, and it wasn't hard to see why the Los Angeles Rams became part of the conversation. This offseason, the Rams have already shown they're not afraid to make huge moves. Landing Myles Garrett and Trent McDuffie completely changed the outlook of this roster, and it reminded everyone around the league that Sean McVey and general manager Les Snead are always willing to be aggressive if they believe it gives this team a better chance to win a championship. So naturally, when a player like Vita Vea suddenly became available, people started asking the obvious question. Could the Rams pull off another blockbuster? That question was put directly to Sean McVey when he appeared on Up and Adams with Kay Adams. And honestly, his response sounded like someone who wanted to shut the rumor down before it got out of control. When Kay Adams asked him how interested the Rams were in trading for Vea, McVey smiled, laughed a little, stumbled over a few words, and then gave a pretty straightforward answer. He said that Vita Vea is a stud, called him a great player who has always been difficult to game plan against, but then made the Rams' position very clear by saying, "We feel good about our group right now." That one sentence probably tells us everything we need to know. It's not that McVey doesn't respect Vita Vea, quite the opposite. He made it obvious that he thinks Vea is one of the best defensive tackles in football. But respecting a player and actually trading for him are two completely different things. When you really look at the Rams' defensive line, his answer makes a lot of sense. Right now, Kobe Turner and Poona Ford are expected to be the starting defensive tackle duo. Turner has developed into one of the young building blocks of this defense, although he's entering the final year of his current contract and will soon be looking for an extension. Then there's Braden Fisk, who is already eligible for an extension himself after showing exactly why the Rams invested in him. On top of that, the defensive front already features Myles Garrett, Tyler Davis, and plenty of depth across the defensive line. Adding Vita Vea to that group would certainly make the defense even more talented, but it would also create a logjam at one position where the Rams are already extremely strong, and that's only one part of the equation. The financial side makes things even more complicated. Vita Vea is entering the final season of his 4-year, $71 million contract with Tampa Bay. This season alone, he's scheduled to earn $17 million in base salary, while carrying a cap hit of just over $22 million. Multiple reports also suggest that V would likely want a brand new extension as part of any trade, so the Rams wouldn't just be giving up valuable draft picks. They'd also be committing major salary cap space to a player who's already 31 years old, while simultaneously trying to figure out long-term contracts for younger stars like Kobe Turner. That's a difficult balancing act, even for one of the league's most aggressive front offices. Then there's the draft capital. The Rams have already spent a significant amount of future assets to acquire Myles Garrett and Trent McDuffie. At this point, Los Angeles still owns its 2027 second-round pick, along with its 4th, 5th, and 6th round selections that year. Looking ahead to 2028, they still have their first-round pick, plus selections from the 3rd round through the 7th round. And in 2029, they currently hold their first-round pick, 2nd round pick, and selections from the 4th through 7th rounds. Those remaining picks become even more valuable when you consider how expensive elite defensive tackles have been in recent trades around the NFL. Recent examples show just how costly this market can be. Dexter Lawrence reportedly required the number 10 overall pick in a previous trade comparison, while Osa Odighizola reportedly cost the San Francisco 49ers a 2026 third-round pick. If that's the market, Vita Vea certainly wouldn't come cheap. Another interesting detail came from The Athletic's Ted Nguyen, who reported that Vita Vea would prefer to be traded to a California team or the Las Vegas Raiders. If that report is accurate, it would narrow the realistic destinations to the Rams, San Francisco 49ers, Los Angeles Chargers, and Las Vegas Raiders. Other reports have suggested V doesn't necessarily have one preferred landing spot, but either way, the West Coast appears to be where much of the speculation is centered. Even with that connection, though, McVey's comments make it sound like the Rams aren't preparing to jump into this race. Of course, we've all followed this team long enough to know better than to completely rule anything out. Sean McVey and Les Snead have built a reputation for making bold moves that many people initially thought were impossible. Time after time, they've shown they're willing to sacrifice future assets if they believe it brings the Rams closer to another Lombardi trophy. That's exactly why some fans still aren't ready to close the door completely. Could they surprise everyone again? Sure. Is it impossible? No. But based on everything we know today, the draft capital that's already been spent, the salary cap implications, Vita Vea's contract situation, the likelihood of an extension, and the Rams' already loaded defensive line, it simply doesn't feel like the move makes sense right now. And honestly, Sean McVay's own words only reinforce that feeling. This story says a lot about where the Rams are as a franchise today. They're no longer a team desperately searching for star power. They're a contender that's carefully balancing championship ambitions with long-term roster management. That's a very different position than they've been in during previous years. As fans, it's exciting anytime a player of Vita Vea's caliber is connected to Los Angeles. It means the rest of the league recognizes that the Rams are viewed as a legitimate destination for elite talent. But sometimes, the smartest move is the one you don't make. If the current defensive line continues to perform the way the organization expects, keeping those draft assets and financial flexibility could end up being the decision that helps sustain this team's Super Bowl window for years instead of just one season. What do you think, Rams fans? Would you still trade for Vita Vea despite everything we've talked about? Or do you agree with Sean McVey that the Rams already have the right group in place? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, because I really want to hear where everyone stands on this one. And if you enjoyed today's update, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Rams House Daily. We're still a brand new channel, and our first milestone is 100 subscribers. If you believe in this team, believe in Sean McVey and Les Snead, and think the Rams have another Super Bowl run in them, join the community and help us build something special from the very beginning. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.